So here's my official answer for the record. Kiss my ass. I do not apologize. In fact, by all rights, you sick freaks should be the ones apologizing to me.
Yes. Everyone should be apologizing to Matt Walsh for thinking he was pretty creepy in defending the notion that teen girls get pregnant. That was a statement that he had made on a radio show some years back. It was unearthed by Media Matters. And for those of you who are wondering, what did he say exactly? Well, here's a snippet of that clip.
Teen pregnancy is a new problem.
Yes.
In the sense that it's only recently that we decided that it is a problem. Recently, in the last 30 years or so, we decided that that's way too young to start a family.
Why?
And because now
divorce rates would probably go up, and once you're that young, you can't really make sure that you know.
No, girls are no.
Girls were getting married early, and marriages were lasting longer. You very rarely hear about like these relationships that go to their your diamond anniversary, your 50th anniversary, and all this. That's a dying breed of people out there.
Yeah, and those were all people that got married very young. That's why
they're still alive.
Yeah, that's why you can have someone in their 70s who's celebrating their 55th wedding anniversary because they got married when they were teenagers. So what I'm saying is that the problem is not per se teenage pregnancy, it's unwed pregnancy. That's the problem in society.
Smoothest brains in the world. Your likelihood of divorce goes up considerably the younger you are when you get married. That's what the statistics entail, but that would require these guys to read about it. But earlier in that radio episode, he also said that, women are most fertile between the ages of 16 and 24. So think about it. Creepy.
Yeah. So look, the cultural norms do change. And so is it true that 30 years ago, getting married to what we now call underage girls was more common? Yes, it was, right? So you remember Jerry Lee Lewis got married to like a 15-year-old. A bunch of musicians did it, and then Elvis Presley, and then it goes on and on and on.
Jake,
right?
Until recently, there were plenty of red states that had still allowed child marriage.
Yeah.
In this country, not 30 years ago, like today.
Well, didn't Tennessee just pass a law?
Yeah.
Yes.
Tennessee just passed a law saying, teenagers can get married.
They lowering the age of consent, et cetera, right? And so it's that part is true, right? But that gets to the question of, okay, yes, but what do we want now, right? And so the right wing is going around saying that everyone's a pedophile and everyone's a groomer that they disagree with, right? And then they'll say, oh, it's why? We think they like teenagers. They're making it up. They make it up about almost everybody, right? But now Matt Walsh turns around going, what? Liking teenagers is awesome as long as you get married to them and force them to be with you for the next 55 years. Okay, so look, and I think there's a difference between having relationships and getting married. I think getting married young is a disastrous idea. And so, but by the way, I wouldn't, if you're above the age of 18, I wouldn't take that right away from you. I believe in freedom, right? I think it's a terrible idea, et cetera. But I don't know, is Matt Walsh claiming back then that they should get married at 16, 15? It's a
so they
spectacularly bad idea.
How else would they have their golden anniversary, Cenk? How about don't get involved in other people's personal decisions, okay? These are the most intimate parts of their lives. The idea of let's normalize 16-year-olds getting pregnant and getting married. No, how about not? How about no? But what Matt Walsh is the most fearful about, his number one concern is that white people are being replaced in this country. Right? He's a firm believer in that. So the idea of more white procreation is a great thing, even if it needs to be done by force. That's who he's a creep. I don't want to really hear anything about what he thinks is creepy in regard to education or in regard to gender affirming care. Not interested, you're a creep. But my favorite part of his non-apology is how he makes himself out to be some sort of brave hero And so get a load of this, and then I'll kind of dismantle his nonsense.
I wouldn't apologize to you, soulless parasites, if I had a gun to my head. Instead, I'd rather just tell you all to piss off. I apologize for nothing. I concede nothing. I will never surrender even a single inch of ground to a pitchfork mob of degenerate morons. You know, the secret they never say out loud is that nobody is truly canceled unless they consent to it and they willingly play their assigned roles. Well, I do not consent, and I'm not going to play the game. I'm not going anywhere.
What a hero. So brave. Very, very brave. I don't know if he got this, but let me help him understand. No one was asking for your apology. The point in talking about what you said in the past and what you continue to say today is to draw attention to the fact that Matt Walsh is a creep. He has absolutely no leg to stand on when it comes to judging what is and is not creepy, when he's justifying the idea of a 16-year-old getting pregnant and getting married. 16-year-olds, I mean, they haven't even graduated high school. It's insane that he wants that while simultaneously terrorizing teachers and defaming them as groomers if they have the audacity to create a welcoming environment for all students regardless of what their identity happens to be. I don't care about his apology. In fact, I would spit at his apology. I have no interest in it. And yeah, the idea of him being canceled. You work for the Daily Wire. Yeah, you're not gonna get canceled. No one was under the assumption that he would get canceled. No one would ask for that. No one thought it would happen. You're not a hero. You're a massive, insecure loser who honestly creeps me out, probably more than any right-wing talking head imaginable.
I hadn't even heard this story, but it's obvious from his statement that he's shaken. Like, I hadn't seen that. And he's like, I'm not gonna apologize. You guys are all trying to cancel me, but I'm not gonna get canceled.
He tased an intern in the ass on camera. That was one of the videos that was unearthed by Media Matters. I mean, the guy, again, his intern dropped his pants on camera, and Matt Walsh took a taser.
Had boxers, didn't he?
No.
Bare bottom?
Bare bottom, tased him in the ass. And by the way, the intern didn't want to be tased in the ass, but Matt Walsh kept bringing it up. Let me tase you in the ass. Let me tase you in the ass.
I bet he did.
I really want to tase you in the ass. What a creep. The dude's a creep. He should probably be investigated.
He's not gonna apologize for wanting to tase young interns in the bare bottom, okay? Not gonna do it, I don't care if I'm not gonna get canceled. Okay.
I do not consent. I do not consent to being canceled over tasing an intern in the bare ass.
Okay.
Like, he's just, okay, do you, boo?
Okay, look, a guy who, the white replacement theory is explicitly racist, okay? We don't want white people being replaced. Who's replacing them for what? What are we snatching them up and putting someone else in their house?
By the way, can we just also address one thing? So all the abortion restrictions and abortion bans in red states. So I don't know if Matt Walsh genuinely thinks like this is great because it means, white people are gonna be having more babies. White people, not all, but if you look at percentage, white people are more likely to have the resources to go to another state or get to where they need to go to get that abortion. So if you're really thinking about it critically, which I know is difficult for someone like Matt Walsh, maybe that, plaid shirt that you're wearing, that flannel shirt you're wearing is a little tight, loosen it up and try to think a little bit. Very likely we're gonna see more women of color and girls of color being forced into carrying a pregnancy to term, which means more babies of color.
Yeah, because of socioeconomic conditions. Yeah. By the way, Anna, I've been thinking about that the whole time, and I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, for them to realize it, because they're not awfully smart, right? So they're like, it takes them a while, and they're like, and then when they see the numbers, oh no, we did not intend this. So like, there's like some percentage chance that the entire right wing is gonna backpedal out of the room on abortion when they realize that it creates more babies who are minorities and not white, right?
And by the way, and why do I mention the whole white replacement thing? Well, because Matt Walsh mentions it. In fact, he does so in this new video. Let's watch.
213% increase in Hispanic children in the next 40 years. That's insanity. That's actually the next 30 years.
That's like the current rate, right? Like, you know, if they do, you know, magically put up a wall or something of that nature, that number would probably come down a little bit, wouldn't it?
Yeah, at the current rate, that's what they're looking at. Our race of people, we're singing our swan song right now. We're the last of the Mohicans, the last of the Anglos. He's the first person to jump to that conclusion. But all of the studies we've seen, and just when you look around yourself, that's what you see. Now, there might be some people that say, well, okay, so what? Big deal. It's not, you know, still people living here. So maybe the races mix a little bit and it's no big deal. We all move on. Well, it is because we're all dying off. That's what the problem is. It's not that we're just, you know, as the Mexicans come in, we magically meld with them and become like them. It's not like that. It's that we are dying off just like any other species of animal does.
I mean, just imagine sitting around thinking about this all day.
Yeah.
Like, this is what concerns them.
Yeah. No, it's well, I appreciate it because it's explicitly racist. At least they have no fig leaf at all. Oh, can you believe all these Hispanic babies? It's terrible.
Let's force more of them to have babies that they don't want, by the way. Like,
that's the great irony too. But and then like we're all dying off. Why are you dying off? Why is the increase in the number of Hispanic women having babies related to white people dying off? That doesn't make any logical sense at all, unless you think, no, white people should be in charge politically, and if there are too many minorities, we will no longer be in charge, and I want white people in charge and not Latinos, not minorities. You know what that's called? That's called racism. That's like, it's the definition, right?
Yeah.
And then finally, back to the underage girls that he wants to, or teenagers that he wants to get married before. My theory, Anna, is it's before they figure out that they shouldn't marry a right winger. Okay.
Yeah, it's before. Look, it's about power. Let's just keep it real.
Yes.
It's about power. Reproductive rights really translates to economic rights and economic freedom. Being able to make a decision about when you start a family, how you start a family as a woman is everything. And they want control. They want control over women's lives. And the idea of a 16-year-old getting pregnant and getting married, I think, is appealing to men like him because that makes it incredibly difficult for that person, that girl, to have control over her own life.
100%, and that's how those two topics connect.
Yeah.
Because if women get married at 29 when they already have a really good career, they are not solely dependent on the husband, and that reduces the power of the husband to be able to do anything and say anything that he wants and control their lives.
Exactly.
And if there are a lot of Latinos and blacks in the country and other people from that are not white in the country, then that reduces the power of white men in this country. And so for the right-wing mind, it is all about power. And part and parcel of that power is the power to oppress the rest of us. And that's what connects everything Matt Walsh says. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, I really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.